We're going to take a look at some separating techniques. I'm going to start off with this mixture here. So I've got some sand, some salt and some iron filings, and we're going to attempt to separate them into their three separate groups. So I've started off with a petri dish here, which you can see, and I've got some sand, some salt, and there's some small iron filings in there, which is the darker kind of grains. So the first thing that we can do, and it does take a while to do this, is we can remove the iron filings. So by taking a magnet, right, I've got a couple of different magnets here, this nice big round one, you can very patiently put the magnet into the mixture and allow the iron filings to be attracted to the magnet. I'm not sure that you can see there, there's some little black pieces. And then you can obviously wipe those off. So it is quite a long, slow process. So you just keep having to go through your sample, rub it into the sample, and collect the darker little bits of iron filings. So that's using magnetism. So once we've removed all the iron filings, which will take a little bit of time, you've got salt and sand left. Now, what you need to do now is use the fact that one of these will dissolve, so it's soluble, and one won't dissolve, which means it's insoluble. So here I've got a beaker with some warm water in it. I'm going to tip my mixture that's left into my beaker very carefully, like that. And I'm just going to give it a stir as well, just to help the salt dissolve. So remember, salt is soluble, whereas the sand is insoluble and won't dissolve. So I'm going to keep going until I think I've got all of my salt dissolved, and of course the warm water will help to do that. So once you get to a point where you think you've dissolved all your salt in the water, the next stage is to try and separate those two things. So we're going to filter them. Now to do that, I'm going to use filter paper. I'm going to fold it in half and then half again and put that in my filter funnel. Now the filter paper, although you can't see it, has got very small little pores, little holes in it. So if I pop that in my funnel that's in my conical flask, I can then very carefully start pouring through the water that I've got left. Now, what should happen, hopefully you can see it there, is that only one thing is going to pass through there, and that should be my salty water, my seawater. All right, so the particles there are small enough to pass through my filter paper. Once it's passed through, I'll show you in a second what's left in the filter paper. If you waited a couple of minutes, you should have a clear solution at the bottom here. And if I show you what's left in my filter paper now, you can see that all I've got left is some brown solid, which is my sand. Okay, so we're nearly there. We've got the iron filings out. I've got sand out of the mixture. I'm left here now with my salt water. So in order to get the salt back, I'm going to pop it in this evaporating basin. So I'm just going to pour it in here. And I'm just going to leave that in my windowsill in the sunlight just overnight. And then the water will evaporate and it should leave behind some really nice salt crystals. The next separating technique I'm going to show you is decanting. So decanting only works when you have two liquids with different densities. So I've just got a glass of normal tap water here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour just a little bit of cooking oil. Now you guys could have a go at this at home if you feel like it. All right, so I'm just going to pour a little bit of oil in there. Give it a bit of a stir just to make sure it is actually mixed to start off with. And then decanting is really just really simple. You just have to give it time to settle. So if you look closely there, you'll see that all the little droplets of oil are still staying very much on the top of the water. The tricky bit here, of course, is getting that top layer off. So you have to like pour it very slowly and very carefully. So the reason this works is because the denser water has gone to the bottom and the less dense oil has gone to the top. That's decanting. So the last separating technique we're going to look at is something called chromatography. Now, chromatography is a way of separating coloured dyes. So the easiest way to do this is with some felt pens, some coloured pens. So you again might be able to do this at home, but I've got some special filter paper. You could try it if you've got blotting paper at home, or you've got some thicker paper that you might use in an artist sketch pad. That probably will work too. But it's not like normal paper. Now, this is really cool and you can make some really fun patterns with this. So what you need to do is start off with a felt pen. Now, the colours that I recommend you try are blue, a dark blue, a black or brown. The reason being is that quite often those colours are actually made up from a variety of other colours. So for example, if I show you with the brown felt that I've got here, all I'm going to do is draw a circle, like a little blob of brown colour. Not too much that goes through, but in the middle here, like that. Okay, and that's what you can start with. You can be really creative and start doing some funny patterns and faces and stuff if you want to. And then all you're going to do is you're going to get normal tap water. If you've got some kind of dropper, it would help, but you need to just drip. I'll show you like this. You're going to literally drip one little drop of water onto the colour, and then you're just going to watch it spread out. So if I can show you like that, can you see how my colour's spreading, dripping there? So already I can see a really lovely yellow, some pink in there and some purple. So my brown felt is actually made up of a variety of colours. Now, once you've got one drop on there, you can keep adding. So here's one that I did earlier with that same colour. You can see, so certain dyes will travel different distances, and that's how the colours get separated. This one was a blue. So again, you can see they're made up of a variety of colours.